Mike, for the benefit of viewers, tell us a little bit about your role. What do you do at BRC?
Yes, I'm a principal over the outsourced accounting and advisory service practice.
It's a very grand title, outsourced accounting and advisory. Just make definitions for us.
Okay, when you think about accounting, you have everything from what I refer to as the back office, the transactional, getting cash in, cash goes out, all the way to the corporate controller, where you are assimilating the data to make sure all the historical stuff is in there correctly, to the CFO and advisory part, where you are looking and you're analyzing that data to how things need to go going forward. So when you talk about outsourced accounting and advisory services, we are comprehensive of that whole area. So we have the skill set to do everything from the back office all the way to where we're going to go with those numbers.
And this outsourced accounting and advisory, this is a relatively new concept.
I kind of relate it to what historically has been with payroll. If you think about 25, 30 years ago, every company did payroll in-house and the payroll companies started outsourcing. You don't find many companies doing payroll in-house.
Talk to us about the importance of advisory.
Yeah, so I've been that corporate controller and I've been that CFO where you take the financial data and you then take a look at it and see where it goes. You look at, what is your gross profit? What is your margin on that? Because 1 or 2 basis points can make a big difference. And having that conversation with the owner or the interested parties into how they're pricing this information and on a timely basis. A lot of the clients I have might not be doing accounting on a monthly basis because their staff is currently behind. They don't have the tools. They don't have whatever the reason is. They're not able to make a decision.
Tell us about the role of technology in advice and outsourced accounting.
Well, technology is important, one, because the more technology you have in place and the automation that you have in place reduces the risk of error. So if you reduce the risk of error, you get better information. Better information makes better decision. But even more importantly, time is expensive. And if you have people doing tasks that can be automated, utilizing AI to automatically code all the AP, using technology to flow information from subsystems into the main system. When payroll is processed, it's already in your ERP and now it's already reconciled. So if you don't take that time to get that automation, then somebody has to do it. And someone has to do it, it gets expensive.
And is outsourced accounting and advisory appropriate for all business clients, Mike?
Great question. No, it is not right for everybody. If you have a multi-billion-dollar SEC client,
Mhm.
they need to, have that in-house and they need to have the internal controls. If you have, smaller clients that, can't really afford to have all those levels, then this makes a lot of sense. You might need that fractional CFO, that fractional controller, that fractional accounting manager, but you might need that full-time staff accountant. But also at the same time, you might not have access to the resources we have. We offshore probably 40% of our work. So if I'm offshoring that day-to-day transactions that at the end of the day burn people out, leveraging technology, leveraging the different high levels of review, controller looking to make sure it's correct, county manager to make sure it's done, the CFO to make sure that, hey, we can make decisions off of this. And that can be as much as a half hour to 4 hours per month, depending on the client. But some clients end up hiring that CFO and has to do all those levels, and that becomes cost prohibitive.
Mm.
The nice thing about my product is we can kind of tailor it to the client. They might just want the transactional level, but they also want the controller level to make sure all the reconciliations are audit worthy every month that the CFO can take it.
Mm. Let's talk about fees for a moment, Mike.
So first of all, we do a bottoms-up approach. So I'm going to actually take a look at the transactions. We're going to take a look at the meetings. We're going to take a look at the advisory piece. But at the end of the day, BRC wants to make sure the client is taken care of. My engagements will be a fixed fee. So we're going to come in and say, hey, this is a detailed list of everything that we're going to do for you.
Mm.
And this is what it's going to be for the month. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm over a half an hour, I'm under a half an hour. That just, at the end of the day, that is a distraction from taking care of what we need to get done, which is to get things closed, get them reviewed, and get them evaluated.